Deathstroke number 22, Christopher Priest writing, and Diogenes Neves?
Yeah, Diogenes Neves.
Diogenes Neves, there you go.
Yeah.
On art, of course. So this was the team's first mission. We sort of ended the last issue with them just sort of getting there, but we had, two halves of this issue intercutting. So we cut between two essential things going on, which is the main fight with all of our members, excluding Deathstroke, obviously, taking
Right.
on these big. What's the
The
guy's name?
Radiant Man.
The Radiant Man. He's got these big, like constructs of himself that are fighting, and so Power Girl's going big and fighting him back, and falling onto buildings, and chaos is happening. Flash is running around getting guns, and all these kind of things. It's a lot of fun stuff actually. I actually really liked all this combat stuff. There was a lot of character in it where you could see how each one was contributing, and
it was really showing how unorganized they are as a team.
Yeah, it was.
Like
yeah.
when they say, "Oh, Kid Flash, go left," it's like my left or yours. Forget it. Go east.
Yeah.
It's east left.
They're blue. They're green. Sorry, not blue.
Green.
They're green.
Yeah.
Blue.
Wrong.
Thinking of Dr.
wrong
Manhattan,
reference.
my friend.
What do you want from me? But otherwise, though,
I also love that when Kid Flash is trying to do what he does to be a hero, and no, I'm super fast, but I need to be super fast and bulletproof, because he gets in there to save the Marines, and they all start shooting at him because they have no idea what's going on. That part cracked me up.
Yeah. I thought all this action stuff was fun, and then it's intercutting Deathstroke. Well, he's in in this city. He goes to visit Dr. Light, of all people.
Yeah.
And it starts off as a bit of a conflict, but he's like, "Look, these are just holograms. Like, knock it off." And he's like, "Oh, do you want a cup of coffee? Yeah, sure." And it's just them sitting down and just talking about stuff.
I love how it confused me, because they're in this weird hallway and they're inside, and then when it cuts back out to the coffee, they're just in this like little picturesque backyard, and I was just like, "Oh man, look at Priest messing with perception again."
Trick of the light.
Like, yeah, it's so funny. He's like, "Yeah, I'll take it dark, take it black," which that's how you know he's a sociopath. Who doesn't even put a little bit of cream in their coffee?
It's a good question.
I don't even like coffee, so I don't know what that says. But so they talk about a bunch of stuff though. It's obviously there's some commentary about the kids, and he's like, "Oh, your kids are getting beat up." Bill's character is fine. Like, and he's waving it off. He doesn't care.
He's such a terrible father.
But he's there to talk about one thing in particular, and that is the society has messaged him. They've called him out for something, and typically that usually means you're going to end up dead. Although Deathstroke usually gets out of it by, as he puts it, one hand washes the other. So usually like assassinates someone for them or something like that. But now he's on this path, which is starting to make me think. Remember last issue, it looked like he went and killed someone to start this incident. It's starting to make me really think that it was not someone else in the mask that did that.
Yeah.
If he's being this truthful, here in front of Dr.
Light.
Light. Yeah, it feels
it
like
makes no sense otherwise, does it?
Yeah. But yeah, so he's like, "Oh, so I'm worried about what they want me to do," and he's like, in Light's like, I don't really know anyone from there anymore, so you're kind of on your own. But and he's like, "Oh, yeah, thanks for the coffee," and that's basically the conversation, but along with a little bit of, "Oh, do you ever miss it? Deathstroke, do you want to come and like?" I think what's it he says? He says, "Let's come and like scare the kids" or something like that, or something to that effect. He's like, "Nah, that's behind him." He's like, "Do you ever miss it?" Which gives us that really creepy ending where Dr. Light's looking in the mirror, and you see him in the costume in the mirror smiling that maniacal grin. So and Dr. Light, of course, can be very evil. There's go read Identity Crisis if you want to see how
Identity
dark
Crisis. If
Dr. Light
that's
can get.
still in continuity, that makes this even more.
I don't think
chilling.
it is, but
Yeah.
It might be.
But that's what I'm saying. If it even is in play, the fact that he's basically he's a living being of light now, as he showed, and then he's kind of living on his own, and he's under protection, kind of, in this small country. So clearly he's there for a reason. But yeah, I love their conversation, because they're basically just two old coworkers meeting back up again for advice. Yeah, the dynamic was fun.
Yeah, no, I like the conversation, and I like the way they were talking about the kids. So there was this sort of nonchalantly kind of writing them off and whatnot. And when Terra eventually showed up to help save the day, which was a great big page spread, and her being a bitch to Hope.
To Rose.
Yeah. So she's a bitch to her. There's this little catty comment, and then like that's when like Deathstroke sees that in the news. He's like, "All right, that's my cue," and that's when he gets out of his couch. And it feels like the dad getting out of the couch. You can almost hear him grunting as he gets up. He's like, "All right, okay, there you go, sort them out." And there was a hint earlier on that he's like, "Oh, I don't do this for free." And he goes up to the ambassador in this country. He just hands him a bill. He's like, it reminded me of Ghostbusters. You remember how at the end of that scene in Ghostbusters where Bill Murray like hands him the bill, and he's like, "Oh, I can just go and put them back." Like, kind of. It reminded me of that where he just hands him this bill for. And I can't. Have you got it in front of you, Connor? What was the amount? It was
102,967.24
cents. All right, I never noticed the decimal point. I thought it was like hundreds of millions, but
no, it's a comma and then a decimal point.
Right, okay.
I think it's even funnier that he goes into cents than if it was just a bigger number.
Yeah,
because that means he has it worked out. Like he's good at accounting.
I think it's hilarious. Like they've just destroyed this whole place.
Yeah,
and then he's like, "Here's what you owe us."
Yeah, but it also shows that
here's the thing, though.
has
I like the idea that he didn't actually work it out. He just knows that putting an exact amount at the end makes it look like he did.
Yeah, I can see it.
With Deathstroke too, you can see that Joey's got the leadership in him because he's starting to put it together with his icon suit that he wears, how to take out the Radiant Men, and once he actually starts figuring it out, the Deathstroke kind of sabotage them. You know, to keep it going a little bit.
It looked like Madden because he pressed something, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, let's just keep this going a little bit." So like he handicapped them.
Yeah, that's when he takes away his voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder actually, since he's shown these leadership roles, that if Deathstroke sort of regresses and all this goes to nothing, it makes me wonder, like, does this team still exist without Deathstroke? Like, does that become a book where Joey's leading this team?
Yeah, I can see it.
Probably
them trying to stop Deathstroke then.
Probably without Terra, though. Terra will probably end up being evil by the time we get there.
Well, because right now she's working for, what's her name? Adeline.
Yeah.
Yes.
As we saw. So who knows where her true allegiance is? We just know she doesn't like Rose. And I like that dynamic.
Yeah. I really like that Slade was treating this as like a training mission. Because like you say, he was like, he was letting them do it. And he was like, he'll figure it out with the icon suit. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then once he does, he cuts off the communication for the team, and they have to figure out a new plan, and they have to go through that. So he's kind of doing it as like, right, let's see how adaptive they can be.
I think it adds on an extra insult to that bill that he's also using it as a testing ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he actually caused more damage by doing that. Like, because the fight ended up lasting longer because he cut off that suit. So, Jesus Christ. So Slade gone to Slade, basically.
It is amusing me that he proper looks like an anime character. When he hasn't got the mask on, when he's sitting there with the coffee. He's all in white. He's the staff, the white hair, the beard. It proper looks just like an anime character to me.
I can see it. There's also a little bit of setup in here for the grocer, or more specifically the grocer's son. Who presumably is going to be set up to be either, if not a villain, maybe because his whole thing is that he doesn't want to inherit his father's empire. He's quite happy to let it go. But I feel like that's going to end up something's going to happen that'll make him use it for his own good or something like that.
Yeah, it feels like it's connected to Rose's stories because it's dealing with the Hmong people.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's someone that she already knows that that's going to play in, like her family or whatever. I don't know. But I like that. It gave it a gritty feel.
Or not the real family though, because remember the family were actors, right?
Well, yeah, but they're still her family. Like that's what they said.
That's how she knows them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I just mean like it'll be the people she connected with, but they're not a real, family.
Yeah.
So.
Anyways.
But no, Deathstroke was a fun issue, and I do think this has benefited a little bit from going once a month.
Me too.
I do as well.
The art especially feels more consistent because it's once a month.
I do miss Peggy Line though.